All right, so today let's take a deep dive into something I think you'll find really fascinating. The world of side hustles. But we're not just talking about side hustles in general. We're looking at them through the lens of the Birth Side Hustles subreddit. It's a community with more than 83,000 members. And let me tell you, it is buzzing with activity. People sharing their side hustle ideas, asking for advice, documenting their journeys. We've spent some time going through a ton of posts, and trust me, there's so much to uncover here.
Yeah, you know what really stood out to me was just the sheer variety, like the diversity of the side hustles people are trying. It's like a real-time snapshot of the entrepreneurial spirit out there.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, we saw everything from, those typical digital marketing strategies you might expect to some really out there ideas. Like, remember that post about the person selling code for, what were they called? 50,000 person grids? I have no idea what that even means. But apparently people are buying it.
Oh yeah, the 1,000-person grids. So basically, it's like a visual representation of a large group of people, often used for fundraising or like community engagement initiatives. So it's interesting that someone figured out how to monetize, creating the code for that.
Yeah.
Speak to their technical skills, I guess, and their understanding of, that specific niche.
Okay, that makes a little more sense. And then there was that post about the jewelry untangling service. Talk about a niche market, right?
Right, exactly. It just goes to show, there are opportunities everywhere if you're willing to look for them. And sometimes it's just about solving, like a simple everyday problem. That could be, the key to a successful side hustle.
Yeah, absolutely. But before we get into like the specifics of all these different side hustles, I'm curious. Now, what's your take on the whole side hustle phenomenon in general? Like, what do you think is driving this surge in people seeking alternative income streams?
Well, I think there are a few factors at play. First, there's the economic reality for a lot of people. Wages have been pretty stagnant, and the cost of living just keeps rising. So a side hustle can be a way for people to, make ends meet, pay off debt, or just have a little more financial breathing room.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like a safety net for a lot of people,
Well,
or a way to reach those financial goals that feel kind of out of reach otherwise.
right, exactly. But it's not just about the money. I think there's also this growing desire for more autonomy and flexibility, in how we work. The traditional 9-to-5 job just doesn't appeal to everyone anymore. And a side hustle can offer a sense of control, a sense of ownership that's often lacking in, traditional employment.
Yeah, and maybe even an outlet for people to express those creative passions that don't really fit into the day job.
Exactly, absolutely. And the internet has made it easier than ever to launch a side hustle, connect with customers, manage a business from anywhere. You don't necessarily need a lot of capital or resources to get started.
So it's kind of a combination of economic necessity, the desire for more freedom and flexibility, and then the accessibility of all these online tools and platforms.
Precisely. And I think the subreddit is a reflection of all those trends.
Speaking of the subreddit, one of the things that jumped out at us was just the dominance of online-based hustles. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think it's a natural extension
Yeah.
of, the online world we live in. The internet offers a global marketplace, low overhead costs, and a relatively low barrier to entry. So it makes sense that so many side hustles are, finding their footing online.
Yeah, that makes sense. But it's interesting, though, because
Yeah.
while there are a lot of potential benefits, there are also unique challenges that come with online ventures. Like, how do you stand out in such a crowded digital space?
Yeah, that's a big question. And it's one that a lot of people in the subreddit are grappling with. We saw countless posts from people asking for advice on things like marketing strategies, SEO, building an online presence. It can be tough, to break through the noise.
Yeah, and it's easy to get overwhelmed by all the information out there. It's like you need a side hustle just to figure out your side hustle.
Right, exactly. And that's where I think the community aspect of the subreddit can be so valuable. You see people sharing resources, offering advice, supporting each other through the ups and downs.
Yeah, that sense of community really came through in a lot of the posts. Like, remember that one where someone was asking about choosing between Google AdSense and ClickBank for their website. There were tons of people jumping in, sharing their own experiences and insights.
Yeah, that's a good example. That question highlights a common dilemma for online entrepreneurs. It's like balancing the security of established platforms like Google AdSense with the potentially higher earning potential, but also higher risk of platforms like ClickBank. It's a trade-off that every online hustler needs to consider.
Right. And it's cool to see people, openly sharing their knowledge and helping each other navigate those decisions. And alongside all that advice seeking, we also saw some pretty inspiring success stories.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. That's one of the things that makes this deep dive so fascinating. It's like this mix of, you know, the nitty-gritty of figuring things out, and then the thrill of seeing
Yeah.
what's actually possible.
Yeah. Like, remember that post about the 79-year-old who's making $4,000 a month from their side hustle? Talk about proving that age is just a number.
Oh, yeah, that one was amazing. It really challenges the perception that side hustles are just for young people or, tech-savvy millennials.
Yeah.
It shows that anyone
Yeah.
at any stage of life can find success if they have the drive and the right idea.
Yeah. And it was really cool to see people in the comments just cheering them on and celebrating their success.
Yeah, it really is like the heart of this community. It's not just about the individual hustle. It's about a shared desire to
Yeah.
break free from
Mhm.
traditional work models.
And create
Uh,
something meaningful.
And it
Yeah.
seems like there are as many paths to success as there are people in the subreddit. We saw everything from, creative ventures like that jewelry untanking
Yeah.
service to tech-driven businesses like
Yeah.
the person who created that kids learning app.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of tech, the emergence of AI is also starting to make its mark. On the side hustle landscape, we saw posts about people using AI to automate tasks, generate content, and even develop entirely new business models. It's a really exciting development to watch.
Yeah. We came across that post about the person using AI to create personalized songs for people. I mean, who would have thought that was even possible a few years ago?
It's amazing how quickly AI is changing the game.
Yeah.
It raises some interesting questions about the future of work and the schools that will be, most valuable in the years to come.
Yeah, that's a whole other deep dive waiting to happen. But for now, let's get back to the subreddit and talk a bit more about some of the specific challenges and successes that people are sharing. Because, for every success story, there are probably a dozen posts from people who are still trying to figure things out.
Absolutely. Yeah, the subreddit is full of people asking for advice, sharing their struggles, looking for guidance. It's a good reminder that building a successful side hustle isn't always easy, and it often requires, a lot of hard work, resilience, and a willingness to learn and adapt.
Yeah, one thing that really stood out to me was just how many people were struggling to find legitimate online opportunities. There's so much noise out there. All these get-rich-quick schemes
Yeah.
and promises of easy money.
Yeah, that's definitely like the dark side of the side hustle boom. There are people out there preying on those who are, eager to make extra cash or escape the 9-to-5 grind. So it really highlights the importance of doing your research, being skeptical of anything that sounds too good to be true, and really focusing on building a sustainable business based on, genuine value.
Yeah, it can be tough to know where to even start, especially with so much information and misinformation out there. But it seems like the subreddit itself can be a good resource for kind of filtering through some of that noise.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The community aspect is definitely one of the subreddit's biggest strengths. We saw so many examples of people offering support, sharing resources, helping each other avoid, scams or pitfalls.
Right, it's like a collective wisdom of the crowd.
Yeah.
Where people can learn from each other's experiences and make more informed decisions.
Exactly. And it's not just about avoiding the negative. There's also, a lot of positive energy and encouragement flowing through the subreddit. We saw people celebrating each other's milestones, offering words of support during challenging times, and just generally fostering a sense of camaraderie.
Yeah, there was that one post that really stuck with me. It was from an indie hacker, which, by the way, is a term for someone who builds and launches their own tech products, often with a focus on bootstrapping and rapid experimentation. Anyway, this indie hacker had been working on their kids' learning app for months, and they finally landed their first paying customer. And the comments were just flooded with congratulations and words of encouragement. It was really heartwarming to see.
Yeah, that's great. It speaks to the power of shared experience. People who are on the same path, facing similar challenges, striving for similar goals. They can offer a level of understanding and support.
Yeah.
It's hard to find elsewhere.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that even though side hustles are often, solitary endeavors, you don't have to go it alone.
Right, and the sense of community extends beyond just, emotional support. People are also sharing practical advice, tips, resources. Like, remember that thread where someone was asking about how to find work as a social media manager? There were so many people chiming in with suggestions for job boards, freelance platforms, even strategies for building a portfolio.
It's like having a network of mentors and peers right at your fingertips.
Exactly. And speaking of social media, it's interesting to see how the subreddit itself has become a platform for marketing and self-promotion.
Yeah, you can't escape it, can you? It seems like every online community has that element. But I guess it makes sense. If you're building a side hustle, you need to get the word out somehow.
Right. It's a delicate balance, though. The subreddit guidelines encourage people to be transparent about their self-promotion
Yeah.
and to focus on providing value to the community.
Which is fair enough. No one wants to feel like they're constantly being bombarded with sales pitches. But if someone's genuinely created something cool
Yeah.
and they're sharing it in a way that's helpful and relevant, I don't see the harm in it.
Yeah, I agree. And ultimately, it's up to the community
Yeah.
to moderate itself and maintain that balance.
Right. Okay, so we've talked about the trends, the challenges, the community, and even the marketing aspect. But let's be honest. One of the main reasons people start side hustles is to make money. So what did we learn
Oh, wait.
about the earning potential from the subreddit?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the answer, as you might expect,
Hmm.
is it varies widely. We saw people talking about making, a few extra $100 a month, while others claim to be earning 5 or even 6 figures from their side hustles.
There's one post that really caught my eye. Someone was talking about making over $12,000 from 2 e-commerce sites just by using AI to automate their social media posting. It sounded almost too good to be true.
Yeah, it's important to remember that, those kinds of claims aren't always representative of the average experience. There are definitely people out there making serious money from their side hustles, but it's not always easy or guaranteed. And as we discussed earlier, it's crucial to be wary of anything that promises overnight riches.
Right. There's no magic formula. But even if you're not pulling in 5 figures, a side hustle can still be a valuable source of income, whether it's helping you cover bills, pay off debt, save for a big purchase, or even just giving you a little more financial freedom.
Right, and it's not just about the immediate financial gains. Side hustles can also provide opportunities for personal and professional growth. You might learn new skills, gain valuable experience, build your confidence, and even discover hidden talents or passions.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe that side hustle will eventually turn into your full-time gig. There were definitely people on the subreddit talking about how their side hustles had allowed them to quit their jobs and pursue their entrepreneurial dreams.
Yeah, it's inspiring to see people, taking control of their careers and creating their own opportunities. And the subreddit is a testament to the fact that it's possible, even if it's not always easy.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the side hustle, what are some of the key takeaways for our listeners?
Well, I think one of the biggest takeaways is that the side hustle revolution is real, and it's accessible to anyone with an internet connection and a bit of hustle in their heart. The subreddit is a valuable resource for anyone looking to explore this world, connect with others, and find inspiration and guidance.
But it's not just about finding the right idea,
Well,
the platform. It's also about having the right mindset.
Oh, absolutely. Building a successful side hustle requires resilience, a willingness to learn, and a healthy dose of self-belief. And, it's also a powerful reminder that even in the digital age, human connection and community are still vital ingredients for success.
As I was going through the subreddit, I started thinking about this whole idea of the side hustle as more than just a way to make extra money. It almost feels like a cultural shift, your reflection of, a changing relationship with work and the pursuit of a fulfilling life.
Yeah, I think you're right. That traditional model of working a 9-to-5 job for 40 years and then retiring, it's becoming less and less relevant for a lot of people. The gig economy, remote work opportunities, and the rise of digital entrepreneurship. They've all contributed to this shift. People are looking for more autonomy, flexibility, purpose in their work, and side hustles can be a way to achieve that.
Yeah, it's like the lines are blurring between what we traditionally considered work and leisure. People are finding ways to monetize their passions, turn their hobbies into businesses, and really create a lifestyle that aligns with their values.
Right, and technology is playing a huge role in that.
Yeah.
The tools and platforms available today make it so much easier to launch business, connect with customers, manage your workflow from anywhere.
Which brings us back to the subreddit. It's like a microcosm of this evolving landscape, a place where people are experimenting, innovating, and supporting each other as they kind of navigate these uncharted waters of the new world of work.
Yeah, and it's exciting to think about. What the future holds. Given the trends we observed, what new side hustle opportunities might emerge in the near future? How will technology continue to shape this landscape? And, is the side hustle becoming the new norm, blurring those lines even further between traditional employment and entrepreneurial venture?
Those are some big questions. And honestly, I don't have all the answers, but I do know this. The energy the creativity, the resilience that we witnessed. The side hustle community is incredibly inspiring. It gives me hope that no matter what challenges we face, people will find ways to create their own opportunities, pursue their passions, and build a better future for themselves and their families.
And that's what makes this deep dive so worthwhile. It's not just about, the specific side hustles or the money-making strategies. It's about the human spirit, the drive to create, to innovate, and to connect with others who share those aspirations. It's a reminder that even in a world that can feel uncertain and chaotic, there's still a lot to be excited about.
Absolutely. So to our listeners, if you're feeling stuck, if you're yearning for more control over your life or your work, or if you just have this itch to create something of your own, take a page from the Side Hustle Playbook. Explore your passions. Embrace the power of community. And don't be afraid to. Take that leap of faith. You might surprise yourself with what you can achieve.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe one day we'll be featuring your side hustle success story right here on The Deep Dive.
That's a wrap for today's deep dive into the world of side hustles. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, keep hustling, keep learning, and keep believing in the power of your own potential.